Same with the technologists who run the equipment. Those people can make those machines do things that it's amazing. But if they don't care and they're just pushing the buttons, it's a totally different product you're getting. So,
hey guys, welcome back to the Two Thumbs Up podcast. Welcome to it today. We're grateful for you. I got my friend here, Ted Kyle from Reyes Imaging. Welcome to the show, Ted. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
It's good to have you.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing this with us this morning.
Yeah.
And, we've been just kind of jumping into stuff. There's all kinds of possibilities with, what you guys do. And could you share with us a little bit about yourself, your history, kind of how your career has navigated you into the imaging world? And
I've been around a while.
Yeah.
And I know we've known each other for quite a while. So I started out life as a chiropractor, right? And I was faced as a practitioner with pretty poor choices for imaging, MRI, X-ray, etc. And I just decided, I connected with a really great radiologist locally in Salt Lake City and thought we could do it better than the hospitals were doing it at the time. And I mean, this is 17 years ago, so it's been a while and things have changed. But we started our own imaging company with an MRI that we literally bought on a credit card, and those were the good old days when you could do that. But it's and it just kind of blossomed from there. We just wanted a product that was better for the patient, quality wise, experience wise, and that the practitioner that was ordering the imaging could have a lot of confidence and connection to that.
And I know for us, doing what we do and using you guys essentially exclusively for our imaging, the access to care for the patient is, our experience with you guys is way more streamlined.
Yeah.
Is that something originally, you considered that was a need in the community?
Huge need, and it's evolved over a lot of years because in the beginning you make a lot of mistakes and you try and figure it all out. But absolutely, we want to make it easy. We call it no barriers. Like we
Beautiful.
want, if people need to get in, we get them in, and if there's an emergency, we get them in. But access is huge. It's huge for us, and we make sure it's a number one thing.
And the feedback from our country is that. And I've heard this in other countries like Canada where socialized medicine has become a really big thing.
Yeah.
Getting access to care is super difficult. And so, we were just talking about earlier that, taking our power back, as healthcare providers, as well as for our patients to empower them to have access to care quickly, reliably, honestly, ethically, all of those things is super valuable. So, you jumped into this imaging world and, things have changed a lot. The technologies have changed.
Incredible.
Yeah. And we'll jump into a little bit of that, what we're excited about with your brain imaging stuff that we're doing with you guys as well. But so start out as a chiro. Where'd you grow up?
Alaska.
What?
I know, right?
I did not know that.
Yes.
My first Alaska friend.
Is it? I am?
I think so.
Really? I love it.
Yeah.
I'm the first one.
Yeah. So Alaska.
Yeah.
And then you went to high school in Alaska?
I did all the way through up to college and then moved away. And then once you move away from Alaska, you realize how much warmer the rest of the United States is.
Oh, interesting.
You don't know that growing up.
Yeah.
And I did not. And also it's really dark there in the winter. So it's not an easy place to live, hence the really low population they have up there. But a great experience, right? I mean, it was a great childhood.
You got family up there?
Still? Brother still.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, Alaska, I've actually never been up there. I'd love to go sometime. But
So
you ended up in Salt Lake. You're up in Utah somewhere.
Yeah, I did undergrad here, and then I went on to school to Texas. Yeah, and then came back. Yeah.
And so where was your first imaging center? Was it the one in South Jordan?
South Jordan. Yeah, I built that one.
And that was been 17 years, you say?
17.
And the original name was USMRI, yes? Or what was the original name?
Salt Lake MRI.
Salt Lake MRI.
Yeah, and then we started doing a lot of international work with athletes because we jumped into the athlete space. We're a provider for the Winter Olympic athletes.
Well, Taylor may have been in your office. Taylor's back here. She is a former pro snowboarder.
You are?
Yeah. Taylor's in the back.
So did we ever scan you, Taylor?
Probably.
No.
Maybe
no, we've been working with US Ski and Snowboard for 14 years now. Yeah. And I'm medical director for US Speed Skating. So Olympic stuff is really in our blood, especially at Reyes. We like taking care of them. But so
I like showing Tay off like that. So
that's incredible.
She's super cool.
I have huge respect for the snowboarders, like tremendous respect. Yeah, you guys are cool.
And it's one of the things though that when we first hired her, it's like she's been through a lot of concussions, and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like, you're the perfect person.
Right, so, you've had some concussions. Yeah. It comes with the territory.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So, international work. So, where you had a lot of athletes, they come here and train.
They come here and train.
And
we would do imaging on them. We worked with, believe it or not, a lot of professional teams, NFL teams. The athletes would come to us for second opinions outside of their organizations a lot of times.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to know, hey, am I concussed? We always liked doing the latest and greatest on our scanners. Yeah. We provided services that other people maybe wouldn't provide. So we just attracted it. So we decided to change it to US MRI because we wanted a footprint that was more US based. We liked the name. It made more sense.
Yeah.
And we were expanding at the time.
One thing I've always appreciated, well, many things about what you guys do, but the radiologists you use.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the general public knows this as well. So when an MRI is done, CT scan, even X-ray, right? There is a radiologist that reads the images, right? And the language they use and how they describe what they see on those reports is super important. Yeah. Would you agree?
Totally agree.
Totally agree. Yeah. And so, but my experience is, and we're not going to, there's differences between specific imaging groups and how the radiologists verbalize the results they see. And with you guys, it's always been a breath of fresh air with your reads that I'm like, yeah, that spells it out.
Yeah.
Because I've seen so many others coming from other places, wink, 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 where I'm like, that doesn't tell us a damn thing. And it makes it difficult. So can you share a little bit about that? Because that's, for practitioners and for patients, that's a super refreshing aspect of what US MRI Reyes does now. So.
Yeah. And I'll start out by saying I have tremendous respect for radiologists as a whole. They have a hard job. They're responsible for looking at the images, obviously, sometimes with little or no information. And they need
no history.
And they need to figure it out. I always think, a lot of times I think they're like literally taking a board exam because they get very little information and they have to extrapolate from those images what's going on with this patient. And it's
a great point.
And it's not an easy job. But I also always say all radiologists aren't created equal, meaning, again, they all have, it's a tough job. They're all really good at what they do, obviously. But we use what's called a subspecialty radiologist in our practice, meaning there's each, radiologists can be general. Some of them specialize in certain things, musculoskeletal. So I look at knees and shoulders all day. Neuro, I look at brains, spine all day. We try and zero in on, where that patient is coming from, what kind of practitioner. If they come from you and you order, let's just say a brain MRI, we know that's going to go to a neuro. We make sure it goes to a neuroradiologist who's specialized in that and knows what you're looking for. So we are super picky, ultra picky. I think the pickiest maybe in the country with where that study lands and what radiologist desk that goes to.
That is the meat and potatoes of really all of this, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're going to invest, what you guys have done, in the best technology, and not be super picky, like you say, about the radiology you use, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot with your vision, yes?
Yeah, and that's the thing. I'm glad you brought that up, because the thing is, there's a lot of components to imaging. Everyone thinks, well, if you have an MRI, it's all the same. Yeah. Well, you can have the best MRI machine, and I've seen this, and not such a great interpretation by a radiologist, and it ruins the fact that you have the best imaging equipment. Same with the technologists who run the equipment. those people can make those machines do things that it's amazing. But if they don't care and they're just pushing the buttons, it's a totally different product you're getting. So we like to get it all together, like great radiologists, great equipment, great technologists that help make that image the perfect image and the perfect product. That's how we look at it.
You know, you hit something there that I love, and that's you said the word care.
Yeah.
You know, I've been doing this a long time. You've been doing this a long time, and it's to create something where there's still that foundation of care, because you can kind of, I find myself doing this often day to day. I'm like, why am I so cynical today? Like, why am I so cynical? And I'm like, okay, reset. And because it's easy to get cynical in a profession that seems to be so manipulated, controlled by exterior forces, right? Mm-hmm. And so to be able to still stay in that space like you do, of caring, your technologists care, your technology is at the highest level. Obviously your radiologist. So the system is built and foundationally built on, hey, we want to make a difference for people.
Yeah.
And that's that's a great message when people right now and probably over the last number of years have gotten pretty cynical about their healthcare benefits, their ability to access care, and all of those things. So I love the fact that you guys do that. It changes everything. It's like, your intention, find places, folks, where the facilities have clear intention of caring for people.
Yes.
And so that's super refreshing.
Yeah.
So where do you see this world going? I mean, technology is changing so quickly. And what's interesting to me is like, well, how does a place where technology is changing so quickly, you're upgrading systems and software, and we're going to talk about your new ANDI AI stuff for brain imaging here in a minute, but how is artificial intelligence beginning to sort of jump into imaging and extrapolating information and making essentially assumptions, which are high quality assumptions, based on what the intelligence is seeing when an image comes out?
Yeah.
Like that's super. That seems to me that's kind of the way we're going somewhat.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing. I mean, I've always been drawn to advanced image like MRI because it is a cool technology, but over 17 years, exponentially it's growing in technology now. It used to be you'd make some leaps every 4 or 5 years. Now it's annually. Mm-hmm. And I do think a big part of that is AI, which I think we're seeing in all kinds of industries, right? But it is an upgrade to an MRI machine, and they're becoming very much like an iPhone.
Interesting.
iPhones are getting better consistently annually, and you want to trade it in, right? You can't trade in MRI machines like that.
No, is it more of a software upgrade?
It's a software upgrade, and of course those vendors are proud of their software, and they like to charge you a lot for it. To stay ahead of technology is not easy, but it's exciting because the things the machines can do now, just over the last 2 to 3 years, is considerably different than what they used to be able to do. So I'm excited to see where it's going. And I have conversations like with General Electric, with their engineers who are developing a lot of things they're working on, and they tell me what they're working on. It's sort of mind-blowing. I'm like, you can really do this? And they're like, no, this is what's coming out next.
Very cool.
So yeah, I mean, that's, and the ANDI software you're talking about is a sort of byproduct of what we're able to do, and everyone's probably seen this whole body MRI stuff that's coming out now, which we're doing, and that you could not do that 5 years ago. The machines weren't capable, and now you have a screening for cancer detection. It's incredible.
Yeah. So instead of PET scan, we're moving into this, correct?
It's fantastic. Easy on the patient.
So
quick.
the forever and ever we've been able to. Not forever and ever, but, relative to the last 10 years, 12 years, the musculoskeletal imaging for MRI has been good, right? But now we're moving into this ability to actually visualize the brain uniquely. Yeah. And the ANDI system you guys have, and it's Amica.
Amica.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's like giving these pieces to this ethereal, to use your word, thing called brain injury, concussion,
Yep.
And giving people some hope, you know?
Yeah, because how many people have had a concussion and actually gone the full route of getting a brain MRI and it comes back normal?
Yeah.
And then you are, okay, I'm crazy. I have all these symptoms, but my brain looks normal on MRI. And truly, structurally, your brain on a typical brain scan would look normal.
Yeah.
You know, there is no structural damage at that level of imaging. When you get into the microstructures, like we've been talking about with the brain tracts and the fiber tracts, that's where you start seeing the differences. But that's not a typical brain MRI.
Right.
So people are getting these brain MRIs, and they're like, I have the symptoms, but my brain MRI is normal.
Right.
And that's where you have to go deeper. But what we were talking about, I do want to make sure we talk about this normative database that IMECA has created. So the only way you can compare and say there is asymmetry is you have to create a database of normal brains. And this is something that grows annually because they continue to create scans of normal brain, what they consider normal brains. And they have to do age ranges. And to be FDA cleared, you have to have an age range. And they're right now, I think it's 18 to 72 is their age range on normals. So they can use their software on an 18 to 72-year-old because they have normals to substantiate asymmetry, right? I think it's going to drop down to age 16 within a year or two, probably this year and 25, as they collect more data. FDA will always keep them at 16, though. They can't go below that.
You know, I just had a text the other day from someone looking for, some sort of assistance with a 1-year-old. So, it's like, to continue to gather that, it's collecting information.
It is.
Right? So to continue to gather that normative data, it's just going to make the technology that much more beneficial for the public.
Their product's going to get better every year that goes by.
Yeah,
I think that's what's going to happen.
And and they kind of are probably doing the same thing with, you talked earlier about the ability to image the entire body. Every body's unique, right? And so to be able to identify potential structure or potential problems in the whole organism quickly, right? Because how many times also, I mean, just recently I was reading about Randy Moss, who he's a former NFL guy and just got diagnosed with liver cancer and da-da-da-da. There's a lot of people that go through a ton of testing and searching and to eventually find a problem. There's the blood work showing something and your symptoms are showing something, but we can't find the thing.
Right.
And so to be able to image the body in a way that is very, the resolution's great and the acuity is great, and we can, I just feel like it's going to make everything more quicker. The patients are going to have better outcomes. So technology what you guys have and what's happening, I feel like is going to change a lot of healthcare.
I agree. Yeah, and whole body is a super interesting one because it's really like I always just refer to it as Star Trek. Anybody who's a follower of that, they'd lay down, they'd scan the whole body, and then they'd say what's wrong, right? And a lot of the general public used to believe you could actually do that with an MRI, but the truth is MRI is time. It takes a lot of time to image just a single body part, like a knee, a neck, whatever, typically like 30 minutes for each one. And so this whole body is really a technology that is a screener. It doesn't get ultra specific, but it looks for basically the best way to say it is hot spots. And so when it sees them, and if there's, say there's a spot on the kidney that it detects or on the brain when we scan, it's not specific to what it is, but then it's like, okay, well, you have a spot, something showed up on your kidney, now we're going to send you for an ultrasound, and we can zero in what is that spot. Or maybe you're going to get a CAT scan on something, but it helps the practitioner know, okay, I need to go deeper on this, and then compare to blood work, right? Are there some kind of markers in the blood that also make me think they have a kidney issue? So it's a great way to spend 30 to 45 minutes in a scanner and get a whole body view, because the body is a very large organism if you look at it that way. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of it. And I think they're saying now that since whole body's been in existence, something like people who've had it done, I think it's around 8% have detected cancer at an early level.
So are they doing these with or without contrast, or both?
Without.
Yeah,
so it's
way better.
It's way easy. It's not hard on the patient. There's no radiation, right, which is fantastic. So as a screening tool, I don't know that there's anything better, honestly, right now.
One of the other thing too is I wanted to mention this with Reyes is that they have I think for the public too, MRI, CT, these high advanced imaging have been cost prohibitive historically.
Very, yeah.
And so I love that you guys are, you just have this new, these pay rates, these self-pay rates that are reasonable.
Yeah.
And I know you've talked about some things that are coming up in the future for you, and that may really benefit communities when it comes to that sort of thing as well. So that's all good news.
Yeah, I mean, I can talk a little bit about that.
Well, I don't know if you tell me if it's still behind the a little bit. But
we are creating a new entity in Utah at one of our imaging centers that will be highly, I call it patient centric, meaning it's longevity based. So it's along the lines of these whole body MRIs, these concussion brain scans, some other things with brain too, like neuroinflammation. We'll be looking at those,
like for like potential, dementia, Parkinson's.
All those Alzheimer's.
MS, Alzheimer's.
Yeah. Right. So, I mean, I heard a really famous neurologist say one time that, one of the things you want to avoid in your life is hitting your head. Because
one thing you want to avoid is gravity.
But it's nearly impossible, right?
Yeah.
And it happens to people on different levels. You might, as a child, you might hit your head like falling off a swing, but as an athlete, you may hit your head from snowboarding or something like that, or in the NFL. There's so many varying degrees of hitting your head, but it just really speaks to how important the brain is. And do these inflammation issues that you get from a concussion, we'll just go back to that, from a car accident, 30, 40 years later, there is research saying this is leading up to create some kind of a Parkinson's issue or a dementia issue or Alzheimer's. Neuroinflammation is a big deal. And if you don't take care of it, what's the downstream effect?
Your lips to God's ears, because I had a text yesterday from a person that they're concerned about their mother. She had a head injury 13 years ago. Now she's beginning to have these micro tremors, these memory lapses, and she's only in her early 60s. But up until now, it's been super duper difficult to correlate a moment in time injury to potential long-term life-altering results, right? Oh, you rung your bell. Well, look at Brett Favre, for example. Mm-hmm. This is all public. This is all out there. He's starting to have Parkinsonian type symptoms. Well, I am convinced of this, Ted, that there is an epidemic of undiagnosed, uncorrelated head trauma that leads to everything. We talk about these Parkinson's and MS and dementia, all these things. But what about early 20-year-old suicidal ideation? Or emotional distress and anxiety, frustration, resentment. And up until now, when we jumped in this concussion space, a lot of that is contributed to nurture type things as a child, or I went through this trauma and this trauma. Well, there's not a whole lot of people talking about these types of things. We do with the military, though.
Yeah.
We talk about that. It's like we need to start scanning our first responders, people that have been in those environments, because look at the results over time of and they went through hell, no doubt about it. But what about the mechanical, neurological damage to blast injury or to, all of that, And so if we can get in front of that freight train, so to speak, early on, get great diagnosis, get great imaging, get great treatment, I'm convinced that we can make a big difference in this later onset, life-altering stuff.
Yep.
That so many that we see all the time.
Yeah.
So that's what's super exciting.
Yeah, and I think that's such a good point. And I will tell you, the military absolutely is working on, even through IMECA and some other vendors, on a lot of diagnosis of brain health, because I think they're seeing, the downstream effects on, on these individuals, and they're trying to be more proactive about it. So they're collecting a lot of data right now. I do know this because we're slightly involved with them on a project, but nationally, not in Utah. But it's being able to create something for people to go and have, I'm just going to say, imaging, to have a way to get access to it, to be able to see, am I a candidate for some of this stuff later on in life? Am I, do I need to, what I need to do proactively? Do I need to go come see you in your clinic because, hey, I have all these markers, and maybe I was concussed or had some kind of injury or something years ago, and never took care of it. But now I'm starting to get brain fog. And why am I getting brain fog, at 35? And, what is it? So it is one of the things we're actually working with IMECA on this, on creating almost more of just a neuroinflammation scan, where it's just a general look and say, yeah, you have neuroinflammation. You probably ought to be proactive about taking care of it.
Along these fiber tracks.
Yeah, but a little bit more of an amended version of it for someone who wants to just come in and get a scan that's a little bit easier. So we're working with them on that too.
But it gives the patient information, and then they can actually start making choices.
Yeah.
Because until the mystery is solved, there's information about the mystery of myself.
Yeah.
If I'm in mystery about myself, whether it's an injury or a relationship, or whatever, right? Until I have that information, I don't know what choices to make.
Yeah.
And so giving patients the opportunity to get the information and say, hey, these are some high likely possibilities for you. Oh, now I can make some choices. And as practitioners, we can assist them and making some of those choices. Like, here's some great information. Because at the end of it, I'm finding out that, we as doctors and as healthcare providers, it's shifting where we're just information sharers. It's like, I would love for people to get out of the idea that the doctor's there to heal them, to self-empower to self-empower and have the information we're talking about, and then make educated choices, because the information is everywhere. I mean, it's readily available. I mean, just ask ChatGPT, right?
Right.
It's like, wait, okay, now I know I have these nerve fiber tracts are inflamed, and there's a possibility that it can lead down this pathway for my body and my life. What can I do in this moment to make choices to heal this myself? It's like the old adage of physician, heal thyself. I love that, because at the end of the day, that's what we're talking about. To empower ourselves and others to have the information readily available and to change their life. Yeah. So that's what I love.
I know you do.
I know. So,
I love it too.
I know you do too, and I'm super grateful. And that's when the heart of it, and we're both chiropractors at heart. It's interesting to me, though, that we've kind of, both of us have gone in different directions.
Right.
But at the heart of it, though, I mean, let's give it up for our chiropractors, right? I mean,
I agree.
The whole philosophy and idea of that is to empower a patient with great information and utilizing the natural forces of the body to heal itself, So that's what's fun and exciting. And the great news is, and if people don't know the history of chiropractic, D.D. Palmer, he said, it's like, and you guys can look D.D. Palmer up, but now the technology is coming into play that you guys are doing and that we use as for evaluation and treatment of concussion. That's kind of saying very similar things.
I know.
So the information is key. And Ted, thanks for coming on the show today.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. This is a fun conversation. And, Reyes Imaging, they've got locations all over the country.
All over the country.
And a number of locations, obviously, here in the Utah.
9 here. A bunch. Here. Yeah. Lots.
So busy stuff. But I'm honestly, man, always been impressed with what you guys do.
Thank you.
Grateful that we got this hooked up and be able to do this two thumbs up podcast.
Right on.
So,
I love it.
All right, my brother.
Thanks,
Good
man.
to see you. Thanks, guys. Tune in next time. We'll talk about some other stuff. Love y'all. See ya.